Boker Tov.
So open at the beginning of Perashat Vayakhel. Page 516. Moshe Rabbeinu, before he's commanding them the day after Yom Kippur, he comes down with the Luchot, he's telling them about the collection for Beit HaMikdash. His introduction was Shabbat. Sheshet Yamim, Pasuk Bet, Sheshet Yamim Te'aseh Melacha, Uvayom HaShvi'i Yeh Lachem Kodesh, Shabbat Shabbaton, Kol HaOseh Bo Melacha Yumat, B'mezid V'atra is Yumat. Then one pasuk that is totally out of character. Lo tevaru esh b'chol moshvotechem b'yom HaShabbat. So obviously the question is, making fire on Shabbat is one of the Lametet Avot Melachot. Why is it written here? So look at the Rashi. Rashi brings the machloket in the Gemara. לא תבערו אש, יש מרבותינו אומרים, הבערה ללאו יצאת. We have the general rule, כל דבר שהיה בכלל ויצא מן לא תעשו אש בשבת, wasn't בכלל, לא תעשו מלאכה. ויצא מן it's written separate. So, one opinion is that igniting fire on Shabbat, unlike the other 38, which are sekilah, this is only allowed. Lo tevaru, it's only 39 lashes, not mita. This is not the halacha. V'yesh omrim lechalek yatzat. Let's say a Nazir drinks 20 times Revit. Be'elem echad. Elem echad means he didn't realize in between, he forgot. He doesn't get 20 times punishment. It's one Avirah that was repeated. What happens on Shabbat if a person does multiple melachot? Let's say that's 15 separate Avot melachot. Is the punishment one? Because the umbrella name is Mechalel Shabbat, or each melacha counts as a separate Avirah. So here, lechalek yatzat, lechalek means that every Avirah in Shabbat, if it's a separate melacha, you chayav a separate korban. If a person on an ordinary Shabbat did 15 separate Avot melachot, b'shogeg is chayav 15 chatat, not one. This is the machloket. So Rashi just brings us the. Let's look a second how the Gemara learns and how the Rambam is recording it. Go to Sefer HaMitzvot. You have Sefer HaMitzvot in front of you. Lo ta'aseh shin chaf bet 322. Rambam Sefer HaMitzvot. It's the beginning of the book.
Yeah, but one other opinion that Oscar brings, the Chalek Yom Tov, to tell you Yom Tov is Mutar. On age.
Because at Yom Tov you have a Terefo Chalefesh. Remember, this is the Rambam in Sefer HaMitzvot. This is not, this is Minyan HaMitzvot, which means it's Minorah. It's page, Rani, it's page 88. In the beginning of the book, 88.
First 88.
Sefer HaMitzvot.
Which one, Rabbi Prague? I'm sorry.
In Chavbet. This is the
22.
You're right. שין כ"ב. says the Rambam in Sefer HaMitzvot Shin Chavbet is here. Remember, the Rambam is listing it in Minyan HaMitzvot. Is here me'anosh. Is here me'anosh הגדרים על החוטא ולהעביר הדינים עליהם ביום השבת. The Rambam copies the Gemara. The pasuk lo tavaru esh is teaching us that a man cannot be executed on Shabbat. One of the 8 averot that the punishment is sreifa lo tavaru esh. The person was found guilty, he cannot be executed on Shabbat. והוא אומרו lo tavaru esh b'yom HaShabbat.
Right.
Again, the Rambam is listing it in Sefer HaMitzvot, the same as pork, as reading on Yom Kippur, Chametz, Pesach. There is a Yisur D'Oraita for this week's parasha. Because Lo Tevaru Esh is an extra pasuk. What is the pasuk teaching us? Lo Tevaru, don't punish people on Shabbat. Ratza Bazeh, Rambam explains, Shalo Yisaref Mi Shenitchayev Sreifa. A man committed an Aveira that the punishment is Sreifa, cannot be executed on Shabbat.
Why would I think it would be mutar?
Says Rambam, Vehu Adin, Nishar Mitot. It's not only Sreifa, Skila is the same, Hered and Chelet. Hila is asking, why would I think it's mutar? Because it's a mitzvah ta'aseh, and Shabbat is a lo ta'aseh. It says, Dochel lo ta'aseh, Yolel Yevamot, Avav, Dafei, Davdal, V'zayim.
But that rule gets thrown out all the time. Mitzvah.
Rambam continues. As you know, of course, you like that you have only been an comment, and you have only wool tzitzit. You are permitted on Yom Kippur to wear shatnez. You know why? Because aseh doche lotas, unless it goes into the other gdarim. But this remains aseh doche lotas. If it's let's say lotas sheyesh bo karet, it's different.
Yeah,
if it's on the same level.
Also, that there are no alternatives. But
you're
right. You know,
there's no alternative, because if you have to be executed, you have to be executed as soon as possible. So let's continue with the Rambam. Velashon mechilta.
So waiting until Sunday is not considered a because you need. Why is not waiting until Sunday considered an alternative?
Because the Gemara learns from Pesukim that from the time a person was found guilty, he has to be punished right away. Here, take this Rambam here, Shin Chavbet, let's fix it together. Rambam continues. No, but remember, Eli, anyway, we're not doing it. Eli's question was, right, what was the Hava? Let's postpone it for Sunday. Rambam continues. ולשון מחילתא, מחילתא is מדרש הלכה, לא תבערו אש. In this week's parasha, the third pasuk in the parasha is don't ignite fire on Shabbat. The question is, there are 38 other averot on Shabbat. Why is the Torah listing ash? Says the מחילתא, הבערה בכלל הייתה ויצתה. Why is הבערה? Why igniting fire is written separate? ללמד מה השרפה? It exactly, לא ללמד על עצמו בלבד יצא אלא, it is exactly מחילתא. מה השרפה המיוחדת שהיא אחת ממיתות בדין, דוחה את השבת? The same way that one of the 4 ways of executing a man and desecrating any עבירה אינה דוחה שבת, אף כל שאר מיתות בדין לא ידחו את השבת. Okay. So this is how the Rambam is recording it in Sefer HaMitzvot, listed in Sefer HaMitzvot. Rambam continues. We looked in Rashi. Rashi brings 2 opinions of the Gemara to answer the question why igniting fire is written separate. Continues the Rambam. והנה אמרו הבערה ללאו יצתה. Some opinions of the Gemara is saying that igniting fire on Shabbat is lesser than all the other averot on Shabbat. It's only 39 lashes. Ve'ina halacha. This is not the halacha, said the Rambam. Ela lechalek yatzta, which means the lechalek means sheyeh chayav על כל מלאכה בפני עצמה, which means, let's say Nazir, we gave before the example, let's say Nazir drank 20 times, 4 ounces each time. He doesn't get 20 punishment. It's one Avirah that he committed. So on Shabbat, if you do 20 different melachot, you might think it's one korban, because basically you desecrated Shabbat. Lechalek yatzta. Obviously, b'shogeg. Lechalek yatzta means, and each av melacha you do one korban. If you repeat it, a man is writing an essay, he wrote 1,000 words, 500 times he did an avirah. He's not doing 500 korbanot, it's one. Because it's the same as the Nazir, but if you do different avirot.
But if a guy woke up and didn't realize it was Shabbat,
Correct,
then he would be on Chayav one.
Shabbat is Chayav one. If you know that today is Shabbat, you forgot the melachot. So this is in Sefer HaMitzvot. Let's open the Rambam.
Rabbi,
The Rambam Zmanim, Perek Chavdal, Halacha Zayin. Yes, Joseph. Here, what's
Halal Shabbat, in our days, it was in Torah time. When you are not keeping Shabbat, everything that you do is, you can find one of the melachot or av melachot, everything. So like, how it could be 1,000, 100, I mean, so many of them. Like, how do you keep track of this thing?
Only b'shogeg. You've got this guy did it b'mezid. It's different.
No, we're talking a man that knows that today is Shabbat, but he never knew A, B, C, and D, and he did it. So he brings 4 korbanot. A person never heard on Shabbat, so the Gemara deals about it. How many korbanot will be if will be around Moshiach comes? Yeah?
Rabbi Prague.
Yes, open Rambam Sefer Zmanim.
Rabbi Prague.
I'm listening. I just want to repeat the Siman.
Okay.
Shabbat Perek Chavdaled Halacha Zayin. Yes, go ahead.
Doesn't it look like these 3 Pesukim are out of place?
So the Gemara says it, Rashi says it. The reason why it's written before the Beit HaMikdash is to teach us, even though Beit HaMikdash is urgent. Yes, still you can.
In Ki Tisa, we had so much about Shabbat. We've had Shabbat before, and now all of a sudden, Eila Hadvarim, and he throws in 3 of Shabbat. It just seems like it's there. It just seems like you got every.
There are 2 major halachot that we learn.
Right.
What is listed as Av Melacha, whatever was needed to build the Mishkan here. The Gemara says exactly this pasuk. Lama nismecha Shabbat lemelechet HaMishkan. What is an Av Melacha, whatever was needed. A. B. Even though it's such a big mitzvah, but you cannot desecrate Shabbat to build the Mishkan. But this is exactly your question, yes?
Okay.
Yeah. You look at the Rashi pasuk bet, and the second answer I gave you is the Gemara in Shabbat. And Rashi says
Where is this?
Page 516.
The third pasuk in the parasha, page 516. See, his question was, why is Shabbat written here? Shabbat is written in Ki Tisa, Shabbat is written in Yitro. Of course, the Gemara deals with each one. But what we focus today is why did we choose from all the...
Ash is very
from all...
Look, I mean, it's Yasam in a cloud for Sikila, and it's a...
No, but the Gemara learns out this halacha. Let's look at the Rambam, Perek Chavdaled Halacha Zayin. Rambam Sefer Zemanim. Yeah, but it's page 116. Look on top, look at the page. 116, 110, sorry, 110. The Rambam says, he repeats what it says in Sefer HaMitzvot, but here he's adding something new. Rambam says, Ein onshim b'Shabbat. The court give punishment on Shabbat. Afar pi, here is Eli's question. Afar pi she'aonesh mitzvah taseh, eina docha Shabbat. You cannot do it on Shabbat. Ketzad. הרי שנתחייב בבית דין מלכות, strangely enough, the first example the Rambam is giving us is malkot.
Not,
Malkot, you ate a cheeseburger, beef and milk. הרי שנתחייב בבית מלכות, אף על פי שהעונש מצווה תעשה, זה מצווה to punish him if there are witnesses and a warning, אינה דוחה שבת, yes? אין מלקים אותו, we're not giving him the rest. Then he continues, ואין ממיתים אותו בשבת, if the man has to be executed, we cannot execute him on Shabbat. Now he brings the pasuk that we just looked in the psukim, לא תבערו אש בכל מושבותיכם ביום השבת. Here, this is the pasuk in this week's parasha. Why was this pasuk written here? Why? How come the Torah doesn't say you cannot cook on Shabbat, cannot write on Shabbat? Why? Yes. זו אזהרה לבית דין שלא ישרפו בשבת מי שנתחייב שרפה. says the Rambam, והוא הדין נשאר עונשים. Now, so the Rambam in Sefer HaMitzvot and here is telling us that this is a isur min HaTorah to give any type of punishment.
no, but does the Beit Din convene on Shabbat, but they don't do the punishment, or they don't even convene?
This is an interesting question.
Well, actually, they have to wait a day. This guy would be killed on Saturday, don't they have to wait overnight? So they convene on Friday, normally they would be killing him on Saturday.
Right.
Yeah.
So if they convene, so whatever.
Would they convene on Shabbat to do it on Sunday?
You'll take the full, you have full right there, full. Full Rambam, the brown full.
I guess they didn't decide till 5 minutes before Shabbat, but that also doesn't make sense. You have to go home, you gotta cook, you gotta this, you gotta.
But there is immediacy to the situation as well.
I know we've asked the question many times, I should know the answer, but why do we, on Milah, why don't we say the same thing on Milah? That we says the Milah says, Mitzvah says, Shidofel lo taseh on Shabbat.
No, Eli is
Why
asking.
do we have a pasuk that
Why
tells us?
Eli is asking, why do I need a pasuk that Milah is Doche Shabbat? Because it's only Milah Bismana or Bayom HaShemini. According to your, even if Milah is in the 99th day from birth, should be Doche Shabbat.
Sure. Right,
So
or there's a C-section.
The answer is it's assuming a Torah, yes? So the reason why the Torah has to tell me yes, to tell me when only the yes and not the no. Yeah?
But why is there?
Bayom HaShemini, only if it's a regular
It's limited,
birth.
it's limited.
And only on the 8th day, with the 9th day, it's asur already.
To tell us that we are going to do, that we're not
This
going to
is
do.
the point.
But why do we have the Havamina that we have to punish somebody on this day? Where does it say that you have to?
Has to do with the
As
Gemara.
opposed to none of
the
them,
Gemara
so we would be
Yevamot,
doing all of them.
the
But it's the
Gemara-
opposite of what you would have thought.
The Gemara in Yevamot,
Yeah.
the Gemara in Yevamot that you learned before. Yes, yeah, well, what are you saying?
Where do we learn that we have to punish somebody bo bayom on Shabbat? Why can't we wait till Sunday? Nitch gefelach, we wait for Sunday. Why do we have to kill him on a Shabbat? I mean, he did something. He can't wait till Sunday. I understand Brit Milah, but eating a cheeseburger could wait till Sunday too.
Okay, in a minute, I'm going to read you Sefer HaChinuch, Mitzvah Kuf Yudale, just a minute.
Let's see.
Okay.
Look at Sefer, you got the Rambam, go all the way in the back, Sefer Shoftim. In Sefer Shoftim, you have the book in front of you.
Yeah.
L'chot Sanhedrin.
Yes.
שלישי, זה פרק שלישי. ספר שופטים, הלכות סנהדרין, פרק שלישי. Look, you have it פרק שלישי. Page 8, right, page 8, you should see on top ספר שופטים. Says the Rambam, you have it, ספר שופטים, הלכות סנהדרין, פרק ג', הלכה א'. עד אימתי יושבים הדיינים בדין? From when till when? Please listen carefully. סנהדרין קטנה, 23, ובית דין של 3, יושבים מאחר תפילת השחר, which means after nets, עד סוף 6 שעות. אבל בית הדין הגדול, היו יושבים מתמיד של שחר, עד תמיד שבין הארבעים. Sunrise to sunset. Let's read the next line. ובשבתות וימים טובים, היו יושבים בבית המדרש שבהר הבית. It's 7 days, 12 months, yes? The job of Sanhedrin is they are the pillar of justice. They have to be.
Is different than the others. What's the difference?
No, but
They're not.
לא כתוב
they're
שהם
all learning in
different place.
יושבים. If an emergency
Yeshivim
comes,
not
if it
court.
is, כן,
They're learning.
לא פוסקים על החוק. אבל למה? Why are they
אבל יושבים.
Why?
Why?
No, יושבים means they're learning. But why are they have to be available, which means one lives in our north, one you cannot don't go home. Kiddush, you're making in court, yes?
Oh, wow.
Why is that?
Something has to be adjudicated. They're not
Why
waiting.
is that?
What would have to be adjudicated that was so important that it can't wait?
Because justice delayed is justice denied.
Yeah, okay, but that's good for our constitution. I'm going back here.
I just gave you that.
If you look at the Rambam in Perek Hamishim, which we're not going to now, the Rambam is giving you a list that we never heard because we never heard of Sanhedrin. What is the job of the Sanhedrin of 23? To appoint a king, to say yes to a war, all this. So questions of emergency that might pop up,
Oh,
you need a court.
It's not necessarily
ready.
punishments. It's not necessarily punishments. It's all matters of
I mean,
import,
there's
of timeliness.
No, so the question is, he's asking,
Can you
in
wait for the
reality,
cheeseburger?
regular service are not doing. They're sitting there.
Emergency.
אם יש איזו שאלה שצריך דווקא בדין הגדול, because normally if you have a bedin of 23, it's enough. Bedin הגדול are anyway designated for specific halachot, like a king, like a war, etc., etc. Yeah.
So, and when they're sitting, there's no exceptions. Everything comes before them on a timely basis. They have to deal with it. It's not like, oh, cheeseburger, we'll wait till tomorrow.
Like whatever
comes up.
whatever they have to do, they have to do now. If they have to do it, most of it is on the Sanhedrin of 23.
Yeah.
But what say Beto says they don't have to be all together, right?
Or what?
Bet.
No, what?
אין בית איש יושבים, צריכים שיהיו כולם יושבים כאחד במקומם.
But you mean they're all in Har Bayit within 2 minutes. You can congregate all of them. Yeah? Which halakha are you talking
No, it's
about?
just bet. Same page.
Oh, you mean when we started
Yeah,
before?
Pele
Yeah?
Shinishi, Pele Shinishi.
Look in halakha bet in Perek Shlishi.
Yeah, contradicting Aleph a little bit.
Let's see.
אין בדין, you have to learn the Rambam carefully. אין בדין ש71 צריכים שיהיו יושבים כאחד. They're not sitting around the round table, yes? במקדש, אלא בעת שיהיו צריכים להתקבץ, מתקבצים כולם. ובשאר העיתות, otherwise at night, כל מי שהיה לו עסק יצא לעשות חפצו וחוזר, והוא שלא יפחתו מ23 יושבים תמיד, כל זמן ישיבתם. In one room you always had 23 out of the 71. Otherwise you have to be available. They didn't have beepers, they didn't have cell phones. Yes. הוצרך אחד מהם לצאת, הרי מסתכל בחבריו הנשארים, אם יישארו שם 23 יוצא, ואם לא יוצא.
The 23 out of the 71 have certain powers because they have to stay together.
Good.
So it doesn't have to be 71 of
But
those.
remember, it's not
Other ones are on
designated.
call.
But it's not designated 23 out. Any 23 of the
Any
71.
23 of those
Correct,
can
but you mean the
have
number.
certain
You
powers.
mean the number.
Right,
The number.
they
Yes,
don't
yes,
all
yes.
have to be available.
Yes.
Like a minyan, so to speak.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that gives them.
Remember,
Rabbi, they weren't specific 23, or was any 23?
no, it says 23.
Any 20.
Remember,
But-
it says in the Chumash that if you have a dispute in the court in Rehovot or in Haifa, they have to come to Yerushalayim to solve it. Who solves it? In the area of Beit HaMikdash, you have 3 courts, 2 of 23 each and 1 of 71. So the dispute first is being presented to the Sanhedrin of 23 in Bet HaMikdash. If they cannot solve it, then they go to the 73.
71.
See, dispute
No,
like this, it makes a difference if Shabbat, Sunday, or Monday. It's an argument because they have traveled already from the north to the Yerushalayim. So let's go back now to the
The
Rambam.
71 doesn't include it, there's different people than the 23s, right? There's 71 are different people entirely.
No, that's the same. Eli pointed out from the Rambam.
Of the 71, there's 23 have to be four.
23 is from the 71, right?
Body of 23 always available
Well, we have
together.
two courts of 23.
There's
Those
two
are
others.
Separate, separate.
23, 23. Of the 71, there's
The ra-
23 below 71.
The 23 are part of the 71? I didn't hear.
Let's go back. Let's go.
23, and 71.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And-
23.
And within the
correct,
71, there's 23 qualified
correct,
people.
correct.
That's a
Okay.
third.
Exactly the way.
There's at least 69 people besides,
Well,
streets.
and Glau does the Sanhedrin have to go out? They're the ones who have to go out.
Rambam is listed.
So they actually have to leave for that,
Looks
whoever
like
it
you
is.
gotta be on call.
Look a second.
They're on duty. If you get called to Washington, you have to get called to Washington, do nothing, but they get called.
Usually they are never around.
Usually they're on vacation.
Yeah.
You wanna
No,
stop?
remember, it's
You wanna
only
stop
part.
the kick off?
Okay.
Ronnie, Lehavdil, Ronnie.
That's right, it's not right. Why does blaming Congress?
Five points.
Just read you an example. אין מעמידים מלך אלא על פי בית דין של 71. אין עושים סנהדרין, you cannot appoint a Sanhedrin in a different city, only על פי 71. אין דנים לא את השבט שהודח כולו, if the majority of the שבט sin, בדין of 71. עיר הנידחת, 71, זקן ממרא, 71.
But how do they learn this?
Not extend the city of Yerushalayim unless Beidin decides. אין מוציאים למלחמת הרשות או עגלה ערופה אלא על פי בדין הגדול שנאמר. I mean, this is
There's a lot
special
of cases.
special duties that they have to be being there.
No, but they could not meet for 6 months. All these things are very.
If they don't come up, they don't come up, but they're still available.
But
They have to be on call.
Yeah, because they're.
Milchemet Shel Mitzvah, the Beit Din HaGadol has to approve it?
purposely didn't mention it because Milchemet Mitzvah you have to act immediately.
Right,
Till you
that's
go
what
to
I mean.
Yerushalayim, if there is a Milchemet Mitzvah in the north. Till you go to Yerushalayim, and you
That's
need-
why I'm asking you the question.
they're telling you have no time to decide.
That's what, but there's no pasuk that we learn this from.
The Gemara learns out there is a parak in Sanhedrin, the first parak, and every mitzvah you read in the Rambam, the Gemara learns out from the pasuk.
Okay.
Now let's go back to the original Rambam. Let's read again the Rambam Sefer L'chot Shabbat, the first book, Perek Chavdal Zayin. I'm just repeating, we read it before. Ein onishim b'Shabbat, אף על פי שהעונש מצווה תעשה, even though it's a mitzvah to punish, what is the mitzvah? וביערת הרע מקרבך, אינה דוחה שבת. And the first example the Rambam gave us is a man who deserves, after witnesses and warning, to get 39 lashes, or he is a candidate to be executed. This cannot be done on Shabbat. Comes the Magen Avraham, and the Magen Avraham wants to know, is the issue because of Chilul Shabbat? Because basically, killing someone is issue netilat neshama. You cannot slaughter an animal on Shabbat. You cannot kill a person. Yes, or it's a new type of a issue that Shabbat is a day of rest, even for the sinners. This is what the Magen Avraham wants to know. Again, it's a Gemara, Rambam, Shulchan Aruch. Is the issue because of Shmirat Shabbat and punishments involve desecrating the Shabbat.
Or.
So if the court
or the no
That's
We're
fire.
not
really-
worried about the side things, drawing blood, all the other peripheral type things that might happen when you kill
oh,
somebody.
good. You know what Eli says the Magen Avraham, listen good. The Rambam is listing 39 lashes
Yeah.
as one of the Isurim.
But you draw blood.
Which Isur are you doing here? You're giving lashes.
Well, I was thinking that, but you don't they draw blood when they throw lead?
So Eli says,
It's a wound.
right, so the Magen Avraham brings a proof from the fact that you cannot give 39 lashes, that the mitzvah is not because desecrating Shabbat, because we
It's just
cannot
a whole-
punish.
just a
If you want to see, Sammy, this is only Judaism says, go show to the liberals in the southern Israel here. The Rambam, Sefer HaChinuch, says the same as the Rambam, yes? Vayakhel, yes, bo lo ta'aseh, that the Beit Din cannot punish. Remember, the Chinuch always follows the Rambam. משורשי המצווה, תשמע מה שהוא אומר, שרצה השם יתברך לכבד היום הזה, שימצאו בו מנוחה הכל.
That's it.
Even the sinners, you know what he says?
Yeah.
Even the sinners who are going to be killed tomorrow, or they are going to be punished. But one day, so the example he's giving is the day of inauguration. Every 4 years in this country, right? The day the king, the president is being inaugurated, he pardons many people, yes? Says Sefer HaChinuch, משל למלך גדול שקרא לבני המדינה, the king invites everyone to a party, even the sinners. כן הדבר הזה, יודעים? שהשם ברוך הוא יעבד לארץ, ספר החינוך.
I'll find it. Go ahead.
Okay. By you, if you have what you have, most likely the English חינוך, כן הדבר הזה. So he says the reason is not because we might desecrate Shabbat by killing someone.
Everything's. That's
The
it.
reason is everyone deserves one day a week,
Even the
Those-
criminals.
even the sinners. ככה הוא אומר. Now, the Machzit HaShekel is one of the main commentators of Magen Avraham, and he's asking Eli's question. Normally, if you give 39 lashes, the guy is bleeding. If the guy is bleeding, it's a Chilul Shabbat. So maybe the reason is Chilul Shabbat. Right?
Right, maybe, but we said now this over.
If you do a Brit Milah and you bleed on Shabbat,
Yeah, but over there, this is why you have a pasuk.
that's why you have the Yom HaShmini, I understand, but okay.
The pasuk. תשמע טוב. Says Avnei Nezer was one of the great Hasidic masters about 150 years ago. He says beautifully, is it asur min Torah on Shabbat? If I smack someone and he's bleeding,
You're chayav twice.
I'm not chayav twice. Why? Why, Eli? It's a melacha shenatzcha legufa, yes?
You don't care about the
Every
blood?
melacha on Shabbat, Joseph, is only if I'm interested in the result of the melacha. If I smack someone, I'm interested in smacking him. I'm not interested in the blood. So he wants to say, even if you give someone 39 lashes, yes,
That wasn't the purpose.
God is not
Drawing blood,
but
except
it's-
for
if it-
leeches or drawing blood for medication. You're telling me that drawing blood is never
No,
a sword on Shabbat?
This is the machloket.
What do you do?
Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon, melacha shenatzcha legufa.
Okay.
I mean, this is-
Okay, but you
But
do
this is-
so the shkita because I want the animal. I don't really want the
Correct.
onion. We're sword on Shabbat for a
But
different
this
reason.
is
than the
why
blood,
the
only
Isur
because
is
you're
the
killing an animal.
Netilat Shabbat. This is
Right.
why the name of the Isur of slaughtering on Shabbat, Eli. If you kill a snake on Shabbat, you kill a mosquito, right? The Isur is Netilat Neshama, not because.
I thought certain bugs they don't
Like,
consider them in the
the
Shabbat.
reason is I'm not interested in having the snake dead. I'm interested in eliminating the snake from biting me. This is Yenatzich Gufa, yes?
Right. But
Like-
you're saying that the neshama part is the.
No, that's what I'm saying, but the Netilat Neshama is Yenatzich Gufa. By an animal, when you slaughter the animal, you're interested in eating the meat. So this is why the Netilat Neshama is Tzricha Gufa, but by a snake. But if you love animals and you capture the snake because you want the snake, you assume in the Torah. If you capture the snake only to protect your family,
It's a sword of
it's a Yisur D'Rabbanan.
Oh, so in other words, you could trap you could trap a bee in a sukkah,
This is
hypothetically.
exactly the case. The
But
case.
it's Rabbanan.
This is so he's saying if you suspect the people are very nervous in the sukkah, then you do it and you let the bee out right away.
We have the bee traps in the Sukkah, they come in,
Right,
they never
right.
get out.
So listen to something fascinating. Listen to something fascinating. The Rashba, Rabbeinu Shlomo ben Aderet in Spain 700 years ago, says as follows. I'm reading it because I don't we never heard in Sudash says the Rashba. Someone asked the Rashba, can the Jewish court execute someone by asking a goy to do it?
Oh. What about on Yontif? Could a Jewish court work on Yontif?
He said, this is Shalom Rashba.
We've heard stories of the boy executioners, haven't we?
No,
I just wanna know.
The Jewish people, I'm gonna ask a quote.
No, to execute. The guy, can you imagine, Sam, you're looking in the eyes of the man, and you have to pour hot lead in. I mean, I can't do it. I can't. Says the Rashba.
Oh, so we're not talking Shabbat necessarily, we're talking anytime? We're talking Shabbat.
First, we're talking about Sunday till Friday. Says the Rashba, חיי דמר, אני סבור שיכולים בית דין לצוות לגוי לזרוק פתילה לתוך פיו. שאין הגוי אלא שלוחו של בית דין. Says the Rashba, if a man says, I cannot really, remember, it's easy to push someone from the second floor because you don't see him down. But let's say if you have to strangle him. I mean, you have just two people. So
You could appoint somebody.
Appoint someone, right?
It could be a boy.
Okay, so no, but the chidush, of course, it's the chidush is, says the Rashba, why? Says the Mechon Wasserman, why? Because the mitzvah is not to kill. The mitzvah is he should be killed. Who cares who does it? It is.
But then why do we have the Yatia Bola Kodah? But what about when you have the Yatia Bola Kodah? You have to be the one who does it.
But we have, in this case, the victim usually is the one who's.
I'll give you an example. In the 50s, when I was a kid in 6th grade, Adolf Eichmann was found guilty. As to be said, every Hungarian survivor of the war volunteered. People say, we will give my house, everything I have. He wants to look at him. But of course, Israel chose 5, and each one pressed a button.
No one knows
So
which
one
one.
of the 5 killed him.
The same thing with firing squad. Nobody knows who has a live ammunition also. The firing squad.
Okay, later,
They don't, I don't think they'll have.
20 years later, it was revealed that as it
One
happened,
person
one
doesn't
that did
think
it
one
was a
doesn't,
Yaman
something like
Jew.
that.
20
but-
years later, it was revealed what?
So,
Which one did it?
Right, which one?
No.
Number, archive. You
It's
have
a
to
leak.
open the archive. No, it's like
Yeah, but it was a fake right?
you said the Israelis picked up 5 random people and they told each one, you press. One of the 5 that pressed
Had a
is
lie.
the one that killed him. I mean, many people that lost all the family wished very much to do it, but
So would you say that Goy is allowed to do?
I'm reading the Rashba. The Rashba says that Bedin can appoint someone to kill. And Rabbi Chona Wasserman explains why. Because the mitzvah is not to kill. The mitzvah is the result.
Right.
Says Rabbi Wasserman, according to the opinion that a goy can circumcise, you can appoint a goy to make the Brit Milah, and it's considered you did it. Why?
No.
Because this opinion would say the mitzvah is the son has to be circumcised. I have to appoint someone to do it, not meeting Shaliach. Understand by us, by a Brit
But
Milah.
wait a minute, is that the machloket al lamul or ala milah? Because if it's lamul, you would have more of a din of the father. Ala milah seems to say that.
Tosafot in Nazir, Sammy. Tosafot in Nazir.
But our method of execution on when they stone a person, you don't have a definite address on the executor. Whereas in Sekilah, Serafa,
The Semi mentioned before.
they all have addresses.
The witnesses that testified that they saw the men committing the sin, they are the ones
They
to
don't have to
push
do
it.
it.
We had
And they are
that,
the ones to pour the hot lead, and they are the ones to pull
I won't testify.
the.
I have to pull the hot lead.
But they don't
So
have
that's
to.
why
but
you
this-
had that designated hitter
See,
now.
but this
You have a DH.
No, but you understand,
Ronnie, you're the best, Ronnie.
the question is the answer. When you come to testify, we're telling you, remember, we are going to investigate.
Yeah, tell the truth.
You have to look in his eyes a minute before you push him. I mean, if even if you're a liar and the mafia paid you money, but you have to look at his eyes, push him, yeah? But this is part of our
Make sure.
test.
To do less than more.
What?
It's do less than more technically.
No, which means
The person
you can
holding
say
back
whatever
is
you want.
the
I
guilty
wish he
person.
would be dead. But would you do it?
So I'm saying, but then that person may not get justice if a person doesn't want to do the act. Therefore, the guilty person doesn't get killed.
Rabbi, you had to go sit somewhere in some crazy courthouse for a week. I mean, your time is extremely valuable.
And Tosafot and Nazir say that when Nazir completes his
Yeah.
Nazirut 30 days, he has to shave his head. Tosafot say he can ask a goy to do it again. The mitzvah is on him to be shaved, not the act of shaving. Yes.
So why can't a guy do it?
For sure, though, it doesn't
Why
have to,
don't you
it's
say
a question of.
The
does he have to bring-
viruta, which means that the shaving should
done.
come through a tar.
What was the shaving? for?
Tosafot are saying
It's the Nazir.
part
It's
of
the
the
Nazir.
part of the completion of the
So
Nazirut.
that's you to do it on Shabbat?
All,
Why can't-
please listen. All the Acharonim are asking on the Rashba, if the Rashba is correct, and the Gentile
Why
can
can't a
do it,
Gentile
why
do it?
can't you execute on Shabbat? Why? We just spoke from,
Yeah,
from
we just said.
Great
first
question.
point. You cannot. Why not? Ask a guy to do
So
it.
we want to know the reason.
Needs a rest on Shabbat.
Is
But
it
this is the
because it's
point.
all bets are off?
Because it's,
Shabbat.
This has to do with this
Is it
question.
because all
If
bets are
the
off?
Issur realized because
It's
of
a
Chelul Shabbat,
no flies on the
See,
Shabbat
this is
period. Or is it
this
because
is
of
why
Shabbat?
the explanation of the
That's the point.
Chinuch,
it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Issur of Chelul
Yeah,
Shabbat.
it's because.
It's because
all bets are off.
Beidin
Everything's off.
and people, the world deserves a day of rest. So regardless if a Jew is doing it or not, because the Issur of executing a Teshumah, why can't you ask a Goy? But if the Chinuch told us that the reason is not to do it, Teshuvah yafa me'od, and nothing to do if I kill it or a Goy does it. The world needs a day that everyone is resting.
Deals like,
It seems like it's on the Chefsa. It's so interesting. It's such a, the Rashba is so brilliant. The Chinuch is so brilliant. Wow.
What?
The Chinuch is brilliant. I love that.
No, but not like that, but it's one
it's
line
schmuck.
that answers a question that
yeah.
you cannot
It's
move out of it.
It's a
Go into the
geschmack
Rashba.
answer. Such a good answer. It's such a good answer. Wow.
It's called, it shows you be'emet what Shabbat is about. It says even the sinners, yes, one day they deserve.
But you have that with also with your animal. You can't make
Correct,
an animal
correct.
know.
Correct, even animals, right.
Why, how could you mention Milado? It's either if it's a mitzvah.
What a great.
or he gives it to him. Yeah, but it's a mitzvah.
Okay,
to do.
because we are
And it could be a
we are
woman.
possessed. It's a machlokes rishonim.
Oh.
Says that the father must do it. So by appointing a shaliach, it says shlucho shel adam kemoto.
And we have- even though